Okay, hello. My name is Julie Evener, and I'm the Director of Library Services for the university. I'm excited that the library will be able to offer checkout services this fall for you to borrow anatomy models, lab materials, and books from your campus library. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the new service, and we're going to walk through the process for reserving, picking up, and returning library items. So each campus has a physical library, but they've been closed since mid-March, as you might know, along with all the other common areas on campus. Students who had library items checked out before campuses closed were permitted to keep holding onto those items and using those items, but we've not been able to do any new loans since March. So this is really exciting that we've worked out a way to do this. If you're a new student, either starting your program in the summer or the fall, you've likely not yet experienced the physical library space on your campus. So I want to start with just giving a quick peek at each one and what that library space, physical library space, looks like on each campus. This is the St. Augustine campus library. This is Miami, Austin campus, Dallas campus, and the San Marcos campus. So those are what each of our campus library spaces look like. Like I said, in case you were a student that came in the summer or you're a new student here in the fall, you haven't seen those yet. So I just wanted to share those to get us started. Okay, so now on to the topic of the day, our new library checkout services that we have available now. So the basic steps for, let me back up and say that this service is open and available to any student or faculty member who can get to campus to pick up and return. So we have our campus-based students, but if you are a remote student, a student in one of our post-professional programs, and you happen to live near a campus, this is open to you as well. But it is about physical items and going to campus and picking up physical items. So if you're not if you don't live near one of the campuses or aren't going to be on one of the campuses this term for labs or things like that, then we do still have some options, particularly for the circulating books collection. And of course, we have a lot of digital resources. If you go to the library's website, library.usa.edu, there's a resources menu, and we have ebooks, we have streaming videos, of course, journals and journal articles, lots of online content. So the basic steps of the new checkout service, step one is going to be reserving items online. You're basically going to essentially shop for the items that you want to check out and reserve them using our library catalog. The next step is you're going to sign up for a pickup day and time. So this is going to differ a little bit depending on whether you're going to be on campus for labs soon or not. We kind of have two processes. Obviously, there aren't any on-campus labs until October. So for the next few weeks, everybody is going to be using the process for when you're not going to be on campus for labs, which we'll talk about in a little more detail in just a minute. So after you sign up for your pickup day and time, you come to campus to pick up at that scheduled day and time. And then you use the items at home and return when you're done. So that's the essential steps here, and we'll delve into each one of these a little bit more as we go through here. All of this information is available at library.usa.edu/checkout. We are working on some videos as well that will demonstrate some of this process, and those will be available either Sunday night or Monday morning. So we're working diligently on those to get them out. But for now, if you go to this website, it's got step-by-step instructions for how to do each part of this process. Like it'll say step one, this, step two, this, kind of written out on the screen. So you can definitely do this process without the videos based on that. I think the videos will be really helpful though for showing the process. Although of course I'm going to be showing the process in this virtual event as well. Okay, so step one is reserve items online. Reservations are going to be open tomorrow, Friday, September 11th. So as I'm walking you through this, if If you're trying to follow along, just know that you're not going to be able to place a reservation today. We're opening them up tomorrow. So nobody can make a reservation today. It'll be open tomorrow for that. I'm going to click on this and show you the process, but first I want to go over the rest of the information here. The collections available to reserve and borrow from for this service are the bone models collection, which is called bone models, but there's other sorts of anatomy models in that collection as well. Circulating books and both large and small equipment. We have those as two separate collections, which is why I list them separately here. And then you get a follow-up email. Once you reserve the things online, oops, didn't mean to go there. This is what it looks like. Once you reserve things online, you'll get a follow-up email from our system that's, the subject line is library checkout reservation confirmation, and that will prompt you to the next steps. I'll also add that if anybody on here today is a faculty member, faculty members can also reserve from the faculty collection. There's a special collection for faculty that's called faculty. And I also wanted to add here that the university has made a substantial investment in new anatomy models and equipment for this service. And we're getting shipments in this week. One of my librarians sent me a photo this morning of these pallets of boxes of new stuff that we've got for this service. They're obviously not all in the system yet, right? So they should be, our librarians are working on that today and tomorrow, and if needed, some next week as well. So if you don't see what you need tomorrow when reservations open, check back in a few days, check back next week, because we are adding things a lot, substantially, adding a lot of things to this service. So the new items that we're getting in will be available either the end of this week or sometime in the next few weeks as we get them processed and entered into our system. So I'm going to go to the library catalog to show you what this process looks like for making a reservation. Let me know. I've had some trouble in this particular meeting thing where if I change windows, it doesn't show the new window. So once I click on this, let me know if it changed for you. Okay, you should be seeing the library catalog. Can you see the library catalog? Good. Okay, good. It came with me. Glad to see that. Okay, so the first thing when you get to the library catalog, and by the way, you can get to the library catalog a number of ways. That checkout website that I shared earlier, library.usa.edu/checkout, that has links to the library catalog, as well as if you're on the library's homepage, library.usa.edu, there's links to the library catalog on that page as well. Okay, so you're on the library catalog. The first thing you want to do is log in up here. So this login is the same as for everything else. You put in your USA email address and the same password that you use to access your USA email account or to log into Blackboard. It's all the same. These passwords are so darn lengthy. Okay. So I should be set in here as a student, so we should be seeing the student view once it loads. Perfect. Okay. So now I'm logged in. My name's here up at the top. So there's a couple of ways that you can approach looking through this. If you know exactly what you're looking for, if there's a very specific piece of equipment that you know that you want, you can type it in and search here. I think more useful, though, will be being able to browse through what's available and select from a list of what's available. So to do that, you go to Advanced Search, and you leave the search bar blank, and you select your campus from down here. So to use an example, I'm going to do, I don't know, what campus are you guys from? Do you want me to do your campus? St. Augustine, good. We'll do St. Augustine as our example. Okay, so we'll select St. Augustine. And then the available collections. So as I mentioned, bone models, circulating books, equipment large and equipment small. And if you're a faculty member, you can do faculty as well, but only faculty can borrow from the faculty one. Okay, so you can select one or multiple of these. So you can select bone models and circulating books and equipment small and equipment large. You just select what you want. It'll depend on your computer how exactly you do this. On my computer, which is a Windows computer, I hold down the Control key on my keyboard while I click on each one, and that lets me select multiple things. So we'll just select all 4 of those that are available. And again, I'm not going to enter anything into the search bar here, and I'm going to click search. So this is going to be a list of all of the things in those 4 collections that are available on the St. Augustine campus. So you can see it's a bit like shopping online, where you can see images of the things that are available for most of the things. Looks like this is a lot of the equipment and anatomy models that are available. And so you can browse through the list based on your selections. And if you want more information on something, you can click on it, and it'll tell you more information, exactly how many are available versus on loan on your campus, as well as information about what's available on other campuses, although that's not super relevant if it's on another campus. So you can do that. Scroll through, you can look at this, right? There's multiple pages. And then when you are ready to decide on what you want to get, you just hit select. So each of these has the word select, and so you can select the different things. So let's say I want all 3 of these things. We'd have put a limit on 10 reservations per person at a time. So it won't let you reserve more than 10 things. But once you pick up those 10 things, you can request another 10 things if you do need a lot. Which we don't anticipate people needing a whole lot at a time. Rather it's probably more spaced out throughout the trimester what you'll need. Okay, so I've selected 3 things here, and then I'm going to click this reserve for pickup. Now remember, reservations are not currently available, so it's not actually showing me what I would see tomorrow if I'm going in and doing this. So what you would see tomorrow is that these things would be check marked, and then there would be a save button over here. So since reservations are not turned on yet, it's saying, oh, well, you can't do this. But again, tomorrow when reservations are open, you will be able to select each of the items that you've listed. I think they actually come pre-filled, they're already checked. So you would just uncheck something if you've changed your mind. And then there's a save button that appears over here that you would click, and that saves it for you. Okay, so that's how you do the process in the library catalog. Like I said, a bit like shopping online, except you don't have to put your credit card information in, which is kind of nice. Okay, so then once you've placed those reservations, it'll be probably several hours potentially later, depending on when you actually place that reservation. It won't be more than 24 hours later, but it'll be a few hours later that you'll get this reservation email. And it'll look like this. It'll have your name here, of course. It'll have the items here that you've reserved. And then it gives you information about next steps. It says next steps, you must sign up to pick up the item. You guys are seeing the email again, right? The PowerPoint again. Just want to double check. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Okay, so you got this email. You must sign up to pick up the item. When possible, please sign up to pick up your items on a day you will be on campus for lab classes. Of course, like I said, that doesn't really happen until October. There aren't any lab classes on campus until October. So right now we're going by this. If you will not be on campus for labs in the next few days, you would want to sign up for an appointment to pick up the items using one of these campus-specific links. So you would click on your campus in that email, and that will take you to the next step, which is signing up for a pickup day and time. So again, like we just talked about, you click the link for your campus in the library checkout reservation confirmation email. That's the email we just looked at. And that's to a sign up. We'll go there in just a minute. The first day that pickups will be available will be next week, Monday, September 14th. And then there's a schedule out from there going throughout the rest of the trimester. So like I said, if you won't be on campus for labs soon, which applies to everybody right now, you would choose a day and a time, a specific appointment to come pick up. If you will be on campus for labs soon, so this is later in the month, in October and in November when people are coming to campus for those select labs, then that's going to be strongly advised. When we get to that point, it will be strongly advised that you time your checkouts and your pickups to coincide with when you're going to be on campus anyway. That just keeps traffic down on campus and keeps our whole community safer. So if you will be on campus for labs soon, you would just let us know what day your lab is so that we know to have it ready for you that day. Okay, so let's look at Sign Up Genius, and then we'll look at what that confirmation email looks like from Sign Up Genius. So again, this is St. Augustine campus. It's a different Sign Up Genius for each campus, but they all look pretty similar. So it's got information here about the details of what happens when you come to campus, how to sign up, that sort of a thing. But essentially what you're going to do is look at the pickup method. And right now it's going to be a special trip to campus. Once there are labs on campus, there's going to be, I don't think it's there yet, but there's going to be another section that says on campus for labs. And like I said, you would just pick the date that you're going to be on campus for labs. But in the meantime, if you're making a special trip to campus to pick up your library materials, you look to see what appointments are available. You select an appointment that's going to work for you. Note it's got the date, it's got the times. You click sign up on one that works for you, and then you click submit and sign up. And then it's going to ask you for your first name and your last name, your email address, and whether you're picking up or returning. So in this case, right now we're talking about picking up, so you would select pick up, and then you would click sign up now. And that will send you this email. It's an email that comes from Sign Up Genius, but it says it's from the USAHS library team, and it gives you the details of when your appointment is, the time that you selected, day and time you selected for your appointment, and the steps of what to do when you come to campus. This is really critical, right? Because again, there's strict protocols in effect right now to help keep our community safe. So it is going to be specific. You have to follow those specific guidelines, including the key one here is that if you're coming to campus just to pick up something from the library, in other words, you don't have lab classes that day, you're not permitted to actually go into any of the buildings. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay, so you get that confirmation email. It gives you the details of picking up on campus. So the next step is picking up on campus. So this is an example of the process if you're picking up on campus on a non-lab day, which, like I said, for the next few weeks, it's everybody. Nobody's got labs on campus until October. So you're going to arrive on campus at your designated time based on what you signed up for. You're going to park as directed in your confirmation email. That's going to differ a little bit based on what campus you're on, so do pay attention to the confirmation email you get for your campus. Then you're going to text a specific number. That's our pickup return number for your campus, essentially letting us know. You would text and say, hey, it's Jane Smith, I'm here to pick up. And that goes straight to the library staff on your campus that you're picking up from. Once you text, again, you're still in your vehicle at this point. Once you text, you put your face mask on. Face masks are required whenever you're on campus, unless you're in your own vehicle by yourself, right? So before you get out of your car, you do put your mask on, and then you can exit your vehicle once your mask is on, and you're going to proceed to the pickup location that's stated in that confirmation email you got from Sign Up Genius. Again, it's different a little bit for each campus where that is, so you'll want to note where it says in your confirmation email that you get from your Sign Up Genius for your campus. And then you're going to wait outside. You're not going to enter the building. You're going to wait. It's not going to be a long wait. Once we get your text, we're going to get your stuff together, and we're going to come outside to meet you. So you're going to wait outside for us. You're not going to enter the building. Library staff member will come out, will bring your items to you, exchange them, hand them off to you, and then you're going to return to your vehicle and exit the campus. So that's the process for when you're on campus picking up on a non-lab day. And again, the important thing to remember for this scenario is that you cannot enter the building. If you're not there, if you're not pre-approved to be there for a scheduled lab activity on campus, you're not permitted to enter the building. Okay, step 3, this is the second part of step 3. This is picking up on campus if it is one of your lab days. Starting in October and November, certain lab classes will be having in-person labs on campus in a very controlled way, right? You all, if you're a part of this, you know the details of how that's going to work. But on these days, you are pre-scheduled, pre-approved to be on campus to come into the building on those days. So that makes this process a little bit different. And again, this is going to be the option once it's possible in October and November. This is going to be the option that we are going to strongly advise. If you are going to be on campus for labs, we strongly advise you to time the pickup of your items from the library with a day that you're going to be on campus anyway. So in this scenario, you're going to arrive on campus as pre-scheduled for your lab class. You're going to enter through the designated entry checkpoint. And that involves, of course, if you've been on campus in the summer, you know that involves you scan a QR code that's your authorized entry for the day based on the daily health screening. There's a temperature check, and then they give you a wristband that states basically that you went through this entry procedure and that you are approved to be on campus. So then you're going to go straight to class. Wherever your lab is supposed to be, you're going to go straight there after you enter the building, and plan to pick up your items on the way out after your lab. So as you're leaving your labs after class, you're going to go to the library pickup station on your campus. Again, this is going to be slightly different depending on which campus you're on, and your confirmation email from Sign Up Genius will give you the details for your campus. But most of them are located right near one of the designated exit points on your campus. So you're going to go to the library pickup station, and you're going to approach the pickup station and show your student ID. Our library staff member will have your stuff all ready for you, packaged in a bag if it's smaller items, or if it's a larger item like a treatment table or a wheelchair or a walker or something like that, then it'll just be there to hand to you. And the library staff member will hand you the library items that you reserved, and then you'll scan out, go home to use the items. So that's if you are picking up on campus on one of your lab days. So step 4 is using your items at home. So this is, when you can practice for labs using these items. You can practice other skills. You can follow along for any online labs that you're doing. So that's where these items are really going to be beneficial, right? And actually using them, studying, practicing for labs, things like that. And then step 5 is returning when you're done. So the loan periods are different than they've been in the past. If you are a returning student, you'll see some differences in the loan periods that we're providing. We're extending them. So equipment and anatomy models are going to be a 10-day loan, and circulating books are a 60-day loan. You're going to get a reminder email starting 2 days before the item is due. The items are due. You'll get an email with a subject line, reminder, library items due soon. When you get that email, it's going to have the instructions for kind of what to do at that point. But it is all on that checkout page, library.usa.edu/checkout that I mentioned earlier. So at this point, when it's almost time for your items to be due, you'll have a couple of options. You can renew online using the library catalog if there's no waiting list. So the same platform that you use to reserve the items in the first place, once you're logged in there, there's a section you can go to that's called My Loans. You can see all the things you have checked out, and you can renew them on that page. The system will not allow you to renew on that page if there's a waiting list for that item. Now, like I said, we have gotten a ton of additional items, so we are, and specifically to avoid there being waiting lists. But we're going to definitely monitor that as the semester gets started and as we start this service. That's something we're going to be monitoring. There are unlimited renewals as long as there's not a waiting list. So you can renew it as many times as you need to or want to, as long as other people aren't waiting to get those materials. If you are done with it, you don't need to renew, or you can't renew because of a waiting list. There's two options for returning, just like there's 2 options for picking up. So option 1 is if you will be on campus for labs soon. Again, this is strongly advised to time it to when you're going to be on campus anyway to keep the traffic down on campus. So this is a super simple. If you're going to be on campus for labs, simply bring your library items with you. As you enter the campus for the day, go through that entry checkpoint. There's a library returns bin on every campus inside of that designated entry checkpoint, and you just leave your items there. If they're the smaller items, you put them in the bin. If it's a larger item, you put it next to the bin, and those will be processed every day. Those returns will be processed by the library staff. So that's super simple. Now, if you're not going to be on campus for labs soon, that's absolutely fine. We have a second option for you. You're going to use Sign Up Genius to sign up for a day and time to return, just like you did to pick up. That same process we talked about for picking up, where you go to Sign Up Genius, you pick that day and the time. It'll be the same process. Use Sign Up Genius to sign up for that day and time. Where you picked pick up before, you would check return instead when you're filling in that Sign Up Genius. You'll get the same sort of confirmation email from Sign Up Genius with the details for your campus. And you're essentially going to follow that same process that we went through for picking up on campus to return. The difference being that when you meet the library staff member outside, you'll be giving them something instead of them giving you something. So that's the only real difference. But you're going to park as directed in your confirmation email, text the library staff that you're there, put your mask on, exit your vehicle, meet the library staff member at the designated spot, hand them the stuff that you're returning, and then get back in your car and leave campus. So that'll be the process for returning. I do also want to mention here that I mentioned at the beginning that there is a faculty collection. So if you are a faculty member and you're going to be checking out from the items, specifically the items in the faculty collection, those are a 30-day loan. The same loan periods, 10 days and 60 days, apply to faculty and students for the other collections. Another thing I want to mention here is for students who aren't actually living in the area. I know we're going to have students who are going to be sort of coming in specially for on-campus labs this term, whether you're a flex student or a speech-language student, or potentially an OT student who is only scheduled for 1 or 2 labs throughout the term on campus. Maybe you're not actually going to be living near your campus. And if that's the case, if you check things out when you are there for labs, take them home with you, that's not a problem. But you're probably not going to be able to return them after 10 days, right? And we understand that. So we're going to encourage you to renew whenever possible, like that's an option for everybody, right, to renew whenever possible. But if you don't live in the area and you can't renew online because of a waiting list, just contact us. We'll make it, we're going to be real flexible. We are really flexible. We're going to make it work. Of course, the intention would be that you're going to return the items the next time you're on campus, but that might not be within 10 days, right? That might be a month later or something like that. So just let us know what's going on. The first step would be to try to renew online. That's an option available to everybody. And if for some reason you're not able to renew online because of a waiting list or something like that, just get in contact with us and we'll work with you. Okay, so I will mention, I mentioned earlier that we had a lot of students who had things checked out from the library before we closed down in March. So any loans that were pre-April 2020, things that you've had checked out, if this applies to you, if you've had items checked out from the library since before we closed down in March, or when we closed down in March, those previous loans are going to be due on September 24th. So far, we haven't had a mechanism really for students to return things on campus. And so we've just been kind of, we've been taking care of it. We've been moving the due date automatically for you. We haven't been, we've been really, of course, flexible as we need to be with that. But now that we have this process in place for returning items, we are going to set those items that were checked out before April to be due September 24th. This would not apply if you checked things out back in March and now you're on internship. Okay, so if you're on internship for the fall 2020 trimester, you're probably not in this webinar, but maybe you're watching it later, the recording later. But if that's the case for you, the September 24th due date is not going to apply to you because we know it's not fair to say that it's due September 24th when we know you're out on internship. Okay, and we didn't provide you a way to return it before you left on internship. But if you are not on internship and you have previous loans from pre-April this year, those will be set to be due to September 24th. Just like anything else, unlimited renewals as long as there's not a waiting list. So if you're not quite ready to return it, you can renew as long as there's not a waiting list. Same as for any other loan. Okay, one of the things we definitely want to emphasize is that we have strict cleaning protocols in place for the entire campus and as well as for the library materials that are returned. We know that the sanitization, the sanitizing of these materials is going to be really important for everybody to help keep everybody healthy and safe. So we do have strict cleaning protocols. As items are returned, they're going to be sanitized either using electrostatic spray, which you might have heard about as called fogging. Kind of cool, we have these little machines that we can kind of spray or fog the items, and it gets in all the little crevices and kills any virus that might be on them. Or if that's not a possibility, we might also sanitize using a sanitizing solution. So that might be sanitizing wipes, it might be sanitizing spray with paper towels, but either way, they will be thoroughly sanitized. Of course, printed materials like books, we can't really use a wet solution on books, it'll ruin them, right? So when we get books returned to us, we're going to be quarantining those for at least 7 days. We've seen several studies that show that that is sufficient time for the virus to die off on any sort of printed cardboard or paper material. And again, it's at least 7 days, right? Like if after the 7 days, nobody's asked for that same book, it's going to stay in quarantine as long as it needs to, until somebody else needs that particular book. So books that are returned, we're going to be putting them in quarantine, isolating them for at least 7 days to ensure safety on those. When you get your materials, when you're picking up your materials, know that this has already happened, right? So all of the sanitizing has already happened. But if you feel like you want to do your own sanitizing of the materials before you actually use them, you're totally welcome to. We would suggest using, on the equipment and on the anatomy models, we would recommend using sanitizing wipes or spray with paper towels. And we would ask that you don't try to sanitize books. Again, the wet solutions, not great for books. So we would ask that you don't use that on books, but on equipment and anatomy models, of course, you're more than welcome to do that if it gives you that additional peace of mind. So some dates to remember here. Friday, September 11th, which is tomorrow, reservations open in the library catalog. So that's when you can start going in and doing that online shopping for the items that you would like to check out. Monday, September 14th is the first day of on-campus pickups. So that's not to say if you reserve tomorrow, you have to pick up on Monday. It'll give you several options. We are going to ask that you pick up items typically within 3 days of reserving them, but you'll be able to see 5 days at a time, the next 5 days at a time when you're going in to sign up. First day of on-campus pickups is Monday, September 14th, and then Thursday, September 24th, that's when items checked out before April 2020 are due for students who are not on internship. Okay, that's what I have for you. What questions do you have? You can either speak them or put them into chat, whatever you're more comfortable with. Okay, ebooks. Yeah, we have a ton of ebooks. If you go to the library website, library.usa.edu, there's a resources menu. If you kind of mouse over that or click on the word resources, there's one section that's specifically all about ebooks. You can click on that and see a lot of the ebook options. Also, the library catalog. There's a couple ways to get to ebooks. The library catalog that we talked about, the online shopping platform, you can also look there, and if there's an ebook copy of a book, there'll be a link right in the library catalog to get to it. Where does it download to? So most of our ebooks are not downloads like you would have for public library books. It actually works more like the online journals, where you read the book on the screen in your web browser. Now, some of them will provide you an option to download a certain number of chapters as a PDF, for example, that is limited by copyright laws and any restrictions the publisher has put on the ebook. But in general, you use the ebook by reading it on the screen. So it doesn't download unless you specifically ask it to download as a PDF. Great, so I look forward to seeing the reservations start coming in this weekend and pickups start happening next week. We're really excited about this, as we know that this was a huge thing that students have requested and that will make a difference for student learning. So we're really excited to be able to do this. Any other questions? All right, fantastic. If you do have further questions, you can contact us at library@usa.edu. That's the best way to contact us, or our chat on our library website. We've got library staff members that staff that email and that chat throughout the day and evening, including weekends. So that's the best place to reach out to us if you have any trouble with this process or any other questions having to do with the library. All right, thank you, everyone.